Alright. Welcome back to Bleach Anime Review, episode number 14. This is the third episode of Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War, which is called March of the StarCross. This one is quite odd how they adapted this one. It basically adapts the two-page from chapter 488, but there's one chapter, I think it's either 488, 49. They skip over the first 5 pages. Don't know why they skip the first 5 pages, but they do. It's quite weird, to say the least. It also covers basically chapters 489 to 494. So we have two cutaways here. We have two different locations. Let's first talk about what happens with Kamundo. You have Ichigo, where he's about to take on, well, what is this guy's name? I can't forget his name. Kuji. He takes him on, but his supporters come up. Ichigo takes him on, no problem. And they begin their brawl. Of course, he's revealed to Ichigo that he's actually a very serious threat. He's basically top priority. He's a special threat. He needs to be eliminated immediately. Which, good on his part. Yep. So they fight for a while, and then, of course, the three who he just beat come back with Ion, and of course he reveals that, Ichigo reveals some interesting facts to him, like, for instance, basically, that he thought that Quinto used bows and arrows. You are different. And also the fact that, well, your arrows basically are stronger than Uru's. Which, like, really? Yeah, he explains that. Oh, by the way, there's actually also another brief code with Uru. I'll get to that in a minute. He describes Uru as like ancient, doesn't do a current stuff per se, lives in the past. And of course, they continue their fight. Of course, Ion just continues to basically starts his attack on him. Ion is Halibel's three subordinates, is basically their pet, made from their three left arms. From their three left arms that they have. It makes this creature. And he also has this ability where he gathers up Rishu into his disc, makes him powerful. That is until Ichigo decides to smash it toward the end of the episode. This happens a couple times. And also the area where Ichigo, where Orihime and Chad are, basically pieces of their Rishu start disappearing and start hurting them. And of course, basically, Quinji begins his next attack by the end of the episode. Meanwhile, there's a couple scenes here with Uru. Well, he's looking through a library. Apparently, he's not allowed to be in here. And he's looking for something, and he can't find it. His father comes in, tells him basically, don't search in here. You won't find what you're looking for. Uru doesn't like his attitude. Then, of course, he goes search his father's office, basically his room, and discovers basically, apparently, he knew all along about what the heck is going on, and he runs away. And that's not to see Uru the whole episode. Meanwhile, though, in the Soul Society, we have a scene where we do basically have the first thing we see in the Soul Society. We do confirm everybody's reaction to the fact that the Quinties are responsible for the massacre of Squad 1. And apparently, you probably think, oh, is the Captain Commander is the only one who's left alive? No, there's actually one other person left. His third seat is the only one left alive because everybody else is gone. They've all been basically massacred by the Quincies. So basically prepare for war. And of course, it's also filmed this episode, like right after the meeting, after Mahoria just gets him. He meets him later on in his office, the one that's been damaged by the Quincies, and reveals that apparently what happened with last episode with all those people from the Rukon district disappearing, the 28,000 souls, why they had to be evicted from the Soul Society. According to Mahoria, it's to maintain balance because of all the disappearance of Hollows. That was mainly the reason for it. And he's like, why didn't you get permission? It would have taken too long. He was more worried about basically getting something done quickly and to preserve the balance. I guess from his perspective, basically it was a smart thing, even though that probably was not a good idea. You could just basically move the soul someplace else. I don't know. Then, of course, we have it where the two who appeared back in the previous episode, they come back. I kind of forgot they appeared. They appeared like once or twice after this. I should point out the two who popped up in episode 1. Like, they don't really play a role at all. And then, like, of course, it explains to them by their their sixth seat of why the Quincy's and Soul Reapers hate each other. It's due to the stuff with the Hollows. That was mainly the reason for it. And he basically explains in very good detail that you cut the bit out here of basically of how the academies are keeping this information out for some reason. Yeah, that information was cut from the episode. Maybe because it was necessary. So after he finished explaining it, and of course, basically, while that goes conversation, and of course, the Catholic commander explained everything, Mario basically explains like he thinks that Mario started this. Oh no, you started this. Well, you couldn't kill that man 1,000 years ago, and that man is Yari, the leader of the evil Quincy's, and then he begins to lead the Wikamundo, and begins his invasion of the Soul Society. Where Izuku, I think is lieutenant of Squad 3, I think it is, he is killed. Yep, he's killed. But don't worry, he doesn't stay dead very long. Oh no, because he basically gets turned into something you completely unexpected. Yep, and of course, many other people who just show up here, like several third, fourth, and fifth seats from several officers are basically killed during this basically massive attack by the Quincy's. And that's the episode. It's a damn good episode. I love it. And I can't wait for the next episode, which airs next week. Now, you gotta praise me for basically doing this the very next day. I was really hoping to do this yesterday, but I just didn't get time to. Yep. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Stickler Review. Next up is going to be a comic corner, and then basically on to Who's a Good Channel Wants to Hang Out. Okay? Next video. Bye.